versus panel here at SCGCON. I am your moderator and one of your Commander versus hosts, Jeremy Noell. And to my left, I have...
You introduced me.
Oh, okay. Justin Parnell.
Thank you.
And Jon Suarez. And I guess Stephen Greed's here too.
I'm here. Hi.
We do not have a director, Kyle West. He is, however, wandering around if you need his signature on your playmat.
2 scoops.
2 scoops. Hashtag.
If anyone wants to get his signature, we can make sure that happens immediately afterward. The bigger the crowd, the better.
I have a
as far as
Sharpie as
I'm
well.
concerned.
He had his first request to have playmat signed this weekend, and I left from over there, and he's already got he had 5 people surrounding him waiting for playmats to be signed.
So we'll get a big group and then go find him.
So for today's panel, we didn't really have a topic. We're just gonna kind of chill, hang out.
Okay.
So the first thing that I want to talk about is how we go about developing the season and what we do for the season. So
sure.
You want to talk about it a little bit?
Do you feel like we need Steven for this part of the panel?
Not at all.
So what happens
Nor
is,
do we need Kyle.
We only need Kyle.
Nor do we need Kyle.
We
That's
need
true.
Kyle for the first half.
I come up with a bunch of ideas, and they tell me no.
Really? Name one of your ideas that we shot down.
Do we have time for that?
He said one. Name one
of
your ideas that we shot down.
Uncommon generals with no restriction during build. Your general's just an uncommon. They immediately shot me down. That's one. Yep. See? Oh, look, we got one up. And then I further explained it to Justin, and he was behind it, but we haven't rehashed it yet. So
yeah, I did come around on that one.
Yeah, that's
so,
one.
So that's not one. You
more.
literally, I didn't shoot it down. I came around on it.
You shot it down the first time, though.
Well, that's just my natural instinct to shoot your idea down.
Yeah, see,
automatically.
Okay, there we're back. We're back to square one. There we go.
And then Dominaria came out, and we just had uncommon generals
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah.
So you really just stole Wizard's idea.
This was a just whatever uncommon.
Wizards stole my
Use that.
idea.
Yeah, I would like to go on. Gavin is here. Can we address the number of ideas that they've stolen from Commander versus?
Right?
Yeah, Gavin.
We should get him up here. He's spell slinging right now, but somebody go tear him up here. Hey, why do you have to keep stealing our ideas and make products of them 3 months after we make a video?
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
right?
Obviously, they're not in development until we
No.
do the idea.
Not at all.
Anyway,
they just
what was the-
rush it out to the printers.
What was the original question?
I think it was how we
develop our season.
Okay, it's a lot like this. So we all kind of just sit in a room.
He's not exaggerating.
We generally have an outline of what we want to talk about, and then the conversation quickly devolves into other things that don't have anything to do with what we're trying to accomplish.
Basically, it's a lot of making fun of Steven or Director Kyle for their ideas.
Yeah. Well, Kyle has ideas.
He had
yeah,
one. He
you
had
remember?
one.
You remember last season's Randomonium?
Oh.
Yeah, that was all Kyle.
That
and
was
Danny.
Kyle's idea. We'll not do that again.
Yeah,
ever.
we won't be doing that again.
Yeah.
It was an idea. I wouldn't say it was a great one, though.
Wall tribal.
I mean, we do have a formula, right? We sit down.
We do have a
We
formula.
have a couple of things that we always want to do.
So yeah, so obviously for longtime watchers, you guys probably know, there's always 4 things. Actually, there's always 5 things that we do. One of them might not be obvious because it changes from season to season. So the first 4 things that we always do is we always make sure that a new Magic set is releasing during the season. So that's one. So obviously this season was Dominaria. Next season it's going to be Core Set 2019, and then the season after that will be Guild of Ravnica. So that's one. We always have a fan request because we want you guys to get involved. That's 2. And then we always want to do 2 of the random episodes, although those change kind of what they're doing. Those are 3 and 4. And the 5th one is actually, we always have a budget-related episode every season. We don't call it budget because sometimes, this past season we did Pauper.
Yeah.
With uncommon legendaries. Season prior, we might have done your deck has to be under X dollars.
I think that one was the pre-con plus 200.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time we do a pre-con episode, or we do the pre-con upgraded $200 or anything like that, we consider those our budget episode because the pre-cons are obviously, you can get them on the shelf at wherever for, a decent amount.
$35, $40
$35,
now,
$40,
so.
whatever it is for MSRP.
Yeah, so basically we want to make sure that there's some amount of decks that we're playing that are easily accessible for people that maybe don't have $800 to spend on a commander deck.
Yep. So we always do that. The budget ones are, sometimes we go low, like the Pauper or the the bulk rares episode we did, things like that, or we do the super high end. Our competitive episodes have been what we consider a budget because they're unlimited budget, just build whatever you want kind of thing. So we always do those.
Yep.
So we go in, we generally have an idea of, based around what our release schedule is going to be, how many episodes we want. We try to get between 8 and 10 each season. Sometimes they, per year, sometimes they go a little bit shorter or go a little bit longer. It just really depends on scheduling and things like that. And we do talk about, like, hey, what are your plans for this time? Or, hey, I have this family obligation or this other thing that I'm doing, and I won't be able to film on this week. So
something important to note is, kind of on that topic, like, all of us, we all work at Star City Games, obviously, but we are, like, Commander VS isn't our job. We all work a lot outside of that, so this is kind of an additional thing that we do, which we do have to form our schedules around. So obviously, like, events like this one, like this week we filmed earlier in the week, but we had to move that because we were all here essentially the entire week setting this up. And then stuff like that, like, there'll be various times around holidays where ultimately it kind of just depends on what else is happening in the world that we, as far as our world, Star City Games anyway. But we try to make sure we put out this roughly the same number of episodes per year, even though it doesn't necessarily mean that's the exact same number per season.
Yeah. So we always try and aim for a specific amount per season, between 8 and 10, have the in-between season episodes that we know a lot of you enjoy some of those. Some of them are a little, we're just testing the waters with ideas and stuff. They're usually ideas that we come up with that we don't want to put in during a regular season for points reasons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we usually come up with those and come up with our film dates. And as many of you probably know, I know that some of us have actually individually talked about it, that sometimes things happen. And we had
sometimes the power goes out.
Yeah, we had the power go out was like the big thing. So sometimes we have things happen and we have to shift our filming day. And occasionally, this is, I think, only like the first or second time this has actually happened to us, where we just straight could not film that week. We have had
there's no way.
Early days, we've had issues where a file got corrupted, or a computer crashed, and the file, something happened to the actual edited file, and so it couldn't go out right on time. But we usually put those episodes out, or if the file was corrupted, we just couldn't reshoot that episode, in time. So there are occasionally issues like that happen. So
I'm surprised Steven didn't have any air quotes for corrupted.
I saw him start to talk.
Ex-employee Connor, and I was like, somehow he's at fault. Yeah, he corrupted a file somehow, but he probably didn't do it.
All of Steven's best videos have been corrupted.
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of wins that you've never seen because they lost the footage.
Yeah. Footage got corrupted somehow, thrown in the garbage. Some power tool went through the hard drive. Whatever. So the next thing I want to talk about is, individually, what do you guys do to develop a deck on a week-to-week basis? Because we all build decks fairly regularly. We come up with all these restrictions. We come up with our themes that we want to do. And so, obviously, we don't have these decks in mind until we come up with the ideas for the themes for the season.
Exactly.
And sometimes you only have like a week or two to build, especially in cases of like randomonium and stuff like that. So how do you go about? Let's start with Steven. How do you go about your average deck build?
Average deck.
Ooh. Yeah.
Well, it depends on how enthusiastic I am about whatever card I'm playing. So that helps. The more I like the general that I got, the better it is. Traditionally, I use the internet a lot. I'll go on EDH Rec, I'll go on Tapped Out, I'll go look at, 40 different deck lists and see what people are playing. And then, piece it together from there, look and see what they had, what I don't like, what I do like, and then try to put it together. Sometimes I get really focused on doing like a certain thing in the deck. You may notice, it comes out sometimes. Maybe there's some Yargle action. But that's pretty much what I do, I use the internet. I see what other people are doing. Sometimes you get a very original idea. And then other times, I use what I can get.
Yeah. John?
I'm pretty similar. For those of you who saw our last panel, 2 years ago now?
Three.
Grand Prix Atlanta, 3 years ago? Wow,
Atlanta.
time flies. I play Commander primarily for the nostalgia aspect of things. So a lot of my decks have really bad cards in them sometimes, just because those might have been the cards I played with in Standard a decade ago. Or, just that's kind of how I build most of my decks. I want to play with cards that I've played with before that I don't get an opportunity to play with anywhere else. And that's the awesome part about Commander, is we have that space that allows us to play with just anything we want, basically. So like Steven, I do use the internet a lot. I don't use Tapped Out very much. I probably should start doing that and taking a look there.
Ton of deck lists on Tapped Out.
But yeah, primarily for me, it's all about nostalgia, and I try not to. I'm a spike, obviously, so I like very competitive decks, and I try not to do that as much as I can on Versus. So I try to tone myself down on that aspect of things, which is hard.
Sure he does.
I do. You'd be surprised how many cards and combos and things like that I cut every week.
My life total begs to differ.
It's random every time.
It's random, Jeremy.
Random.
It's random.
We don't
every
make the
time.
rules, okay? We just enforce them.
It's
right.
fate.
But that's pretty much my process. We're all busy, like they said, so sometimes we just have to kind of get our deck in. Don't get as much time as I want to, especially on randoms, which we're trying to address now and trying to create a new schedule to give us a little bit more time for those, because those are some of our favorite episodes, especially some of my favorite episodes, and I want to make sure those decks are as good as they can be.
Yeah, if you watched the most recent random episode, which was 2 weeks ago, I think, at this point.
We've only had one. The next one airs this Wednesday.
Yeah, so the first random episode, we actually rolled for the randomness 2 weeks ahead of time instead of 1 week ahead of time,
so
which
that's
was
actually
we were
helped a
trying to
lot.
address that issue. So
Yeah.
So Justin, how do you go about?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start from the beginning. I generally
the world was created.
I generally so in 1993, Richard Garfield decided. No, I'm just kidding. So I generally we have our theme for the episode, right? And when we sit down and we choose our themes, oftentimes, other than the random episodes, I kind of decide. I'm like, okay, what generals do I want to play for these themes? I try to space it out as much as I can for colors and doing different things, because obviously if it was up to me and I didn't care about making an entertaining product, I'm just going to play mono black every week, or black green, or black blue, or some combination like that. But once I kind of pick based on our themes, I try to kind of create a sub theme in my deck, because I want my deck to do something a specific thing. Usually it's something fun.
Like Mill?
Not like Mill.
Okay.
Specifically not, except for that one time that you guys tricked me. By the way, that was a real reaction. I was really mad.
He had no idea.
I've been telling people all week.
You guys should have seen me
I was really happy.
afterwards, in between all the times that it was
the video
that the camera was rolling. Anyway, so I kind of try to I pick my commander and then go and create a theme within that, because obviously all of us I would say we probably have played more decks than 99.9 and built more decks than 99.9999 repeating % of people. So everybody but Sheldon, essentially, that we've built and played that many decks. So I kind of want to do something different if I can. So if I can make a deck that people haven't necessarily seen before, I try to do that, but it's not always possible. Sometimes commanders do, individual commanders do a specific thing so well that you're kind of forced into that. So I try to build it up, and fortunately, all of us have a pretty good wealth of Magic knowledge, so we know a lot of cards that are, like John said, I go on kind of nostalgia too. It's I love to play with this card. Commander's really the only opportunity I can play it. Doesn't have to be that good, but I want to use it. Yep. So once I kind of build my deck from, I guess memory, or kind of just creating it, then I usually go to EDA Trek is an excellent tool, and then I go and look at the decks of that and make sure there wasn't something obvious that I missed, because I've definitely built a deck before and just not had a couple of staples in it, because I just didn't think about it. For the commander, I'm oh yeah, I should probably have
Soul Ring.
Yeah, I try to not play Soul Ring as much as I can. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but as much as I can. So
It's the first card in my deck every time. I started
See,
with Soul Ring. I don't even have a general. It's just Soul Ring.
Mindslaver, maybe.
spoiler,
Spoilers.
spoilers.
Well, Yeah, sure, Mindslaver.
So that's that. So I try to build the deck and then kind of fill it in with like I said, like Steven and John said, like looking on the internet to fill in the gaps.
Yeah,
Jeremy?
Yes.
I shoot it to you.
I have a very similar style. I generally go, whenever I build a deck, I open up
You find the mythics first, right?
Yes, I look for mythics.
Jeremy rarity
I go to Scryfall
within color
and go to mythics only in my colors. No, I generally open up Scryfall, EDH Rec, and just a Google sheet and go through what I want to be doing. And I do kind of similar to what Justin said, where I try and find things that are interesting. I have actually one of the tabs on my spreadsheet that I have of all of my Commander versus decks is just here's some interesting cards that don't see play very much, and I'd like to try them out at some point. One of the ones that I was really interested in using was Into the Wilds from a core set a couple years ago that I really wanted to play in Tatiova, but that was a pauper event.
Yeah, it's a rare enchantment from M13.
M13, yeah, I think is what it was. A rare enchantment, and it says look at the top of, or during the beginning of your turn, look at the top of your deck. If it's a land, put it into play.
That is correct.
Yeah, put it directly into play and then draw your card.
Steven.
Sounds super sweet, and I really wanted to try it. So there's cards like that I have just a list of underplayed cards that I want to try every now and then. Some of them make them in every now and then. Sometimes you don't see them, but every now and then you'll see some like really off the wall.
Well, you have to live like longer than 7 turns or something.
It's true. I do have to stop tapping all of my mana to play Boundless Realms and then dying immediately.
Well, it was dangerous.
It is dangerous.
Yeah. You're pretty much asking for it
all the time.
Well.
So
again, we don't make the rules.
That's pretty much what I do. I go to EDH Rec. I search for the commander itself and then look through several of the decks, because EDH Rec is a great resource, but it's an aggregate of all of the decks. So there's going to be a ton of cards that you don't see unless you go into the individual decks that it lists out. So on the actual site for the commander, it shows you here's the different decks that it's pulling from, and so you need to go to those, and it's a lot of the deck stats and tapped out and stuff like that, where it links to, and sometimes like Goldfish and stuff like that. And every now and then you'll just find something where you're like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that card.
Yep.
And then that just goes right in, and you just have to find room to cut it. So generally my process is I throw in like somewhere between 80 and 110 cards that I know I want to try out in the deck, and then I have to cut from there and make room for land and everything, obviously. So that's generally what I do. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Trimming is difficult, especially when, for us, we know that oftentimes we're going to play these decks one time. Mm-hmm. So you're like, what card do I just not want to see the light of day? Because I might not, it's not like we're going to play a commander pod and then we can play the deck again. Like a lot of times it's just a one shot and then that's it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Trimming is often difficult on a weekly basis.
Okay, so we're going to move on to questions. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to say hi to our directors, and they will get those up to us. We do have a bunch of questions that were submitted before the panel and before the event from our website, and the first one is from Tyler Owens. We're going to start off with Steven and work our way back to me again. What is your least favorite deck you've ever made and played, whether personally or on the show, and what didn't you like about it?
Oh, man. The least favorite.
We have to pull out our phones and look at our...
Steven goes first, so I got time.
Yeah, let me look this up real quick.
Man, I wish you'd have gave me 5 minutes on that question.
Well, you don't. You're up, Steven.
Oh, least favorite. You just bear with me.
I have an idea of what the least
racks.
favorite deck you've played.
I'm just going to jump in. Justin once somehow gave me a Oracle deck.
That doesn't count. You didn't create that deck.
Don't care. I'm
It's
still saying.
Made or played.
Made or played. Well, I played it, kind of.
My least favorite
if you've ever seen that episode,
deck recently was Homunculus Tribal.
Yeah.
But I didn't build that.
But you played it.
So
it was my least favorite to play.
Yeah, why don't we have an answer for each?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. The one that I built, it's got to be a mono red one. It just
you have a wealth of options to choose from.
I can't pull a general out right now, but there's definitely several mono reds that fell really flat. I think we did a budget one where I played Kirkesh, and I thought the deck was so sweet, but we played it, and I just died, and it didn't work out at all. So in hindsight, it wasn't sweet. It didn't work, and sometimes you're wrong. Connor, you can't ask any questions.
Rejected.
Okay, so yours. So what was yours that you made? Kirkesh.
Kirkesh.
And then you hated that you played was
Homunculus. Yeah.
Wait, you mean oh my gosh, Halfdane?
Yeah.
It's Halfdane.
Yeah, Halfdane.
Yeah,
Halfdane
sure.
Homunculus Tribal.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna call it Homunculus Travel.
All right,
John?
John.
Oracle.
The Oracle.
That's
now
both
see,
of them.
now see, I want to note that the fact that you remember the name was the Oracle.
Yeah, of course I do.
Is
'Cause
important.
none
So-
of the cards did what they said.
The
so how
reason
can
the
I
name is the
remember?
Oracle is because you're required to read the Oracle text on every card that I put into the deck and then gave to John.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was the best episode ever, and I had my phone out the entire time, and it was dead by the end of the episode.
All right, so that's made. What about or that's played? What about made?
Made, probably, which is probably some of your favorite decks, was Norn the Wary. As fun as that deck was to play, it's hard enough to film and try to be entertaining and not make mistakes, which we never do.
Never.
But Norn really pushes that limit. There's just
Thank
so
you.
much going on, and as fun as it was to play, it's too much. It was just too much. So
All right, so my made deck that I did not like as much is Aloro. I did it for a fan request episode, and I hate Aloro. It is my least favorite commander to play. Play with or against. I absolutely hate it. I am a meticulous note taker in Commander, and Aloro is like the bane of my existence. Because every life, regardless of where he is, he's always changing something. And it was just like this big Pillow 40 deck, and that's not what I want to do. I generally want to attack, generally. And then for played, and I'm not just saying this just because this came out, that Kalimne deck is a giant pile of crap. I hope I've never played again. It's awful. Gavin, that deck is awful. Jeremy?
For me, I think the one I least liked making was probably the one where we did the core set only challenge.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Where it
What
was
did you do,
only core-
Yissen?
It was
I think
No,
no,
the
I
Master
sang the song.
Polymorphous was what I
Jalira.
had. Jalira, Master Polymorphous.
Did I do Yissen?
I sang
I
the
think
song.
that
the
Steven
bard.
had
I
Yissen.
He was the
definitely
bard.
sang the
Okay,
song.
no,
of my
that's
people.
right.
Yeah.
You did.
that's
Yeah,
me.
you did
Yeah.
sing the song.
That
of
one
your
was
people.
just really difficult. I think like having some restrictions is good, but that one was a little tough. That one was a little too hard to try and whittle down to what I wanted in a polymorph deck.
Yeah, I know. There's so many options.
Yeah, in core sets. I think for played, I like the way the deck worked, but the episode that we actually had it, and this is just one of the pitfalls of only getting to play a deck once on stream and then just never playing it again, is probably the first competitive episode I did where I played the Selvala mono green one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a combo deck. It's like the Selvala combo deck, and I could probably combo out next turn. And then Steven Blasphemous acted, and then I did nothing for the rest of the game. And it's a glass cannon deck, and sometimes you get that. And
Yeah.
like, I just wanted it to go off once, and then I'd be happy with it. And that's kind of what happened in the most recent episode of competitive. Is like I went off, and then we played a second game, and it was just a lot more back and forth. And that's the first one. It was just like, okay, well, I'm just out of this game, straight up. Like, so that was probably my least favorite to play. But that was also my own fault because I picked a glass cannon deck.
Good question, Tyler.
Yes, thank you.
Is Tyler here?
This was one of the ones
I don't think
submitted
Tyler's
online side. This one is from former director Connor O'Donnell. This is a question we get quite often. Where's Danny West and David McDarby?
Danny West is here. He's
Smells
right.
like
He's right over there. You can probably just see him.
You can probably
just wave
smell
at
him.
him.
David McDarby currently works for Wizards of the Coast and lives in Washington.
Yep.
So that is a question we actually get quite often. Danny actually lives in Philadelphia,
Yes.
and McDarby lives in Washington and works for Wizards of the Coast, so neither of them are able to be on the show anymore. All right, so...
Thank you, Connor, for that question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks.
He's asking
for
the
that
tough questions. I like it.
Super serious, awesome question. What is each of our favorite moment in Commander versus history?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
When Wes attacked Steven with Phage and hit him and killed him. That's my favorite moment. Because I built the Phage deck for a random, and Wes got it and complained about it, and then ended up winning the video. But the moment where he killed Steven is the best moment. because he just went
Disagree.
over and just
touched.
I know what my favorite moment was.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
That day in the studio where we unveiled 4-player meal. And
Knew it.
That was a
the look
pretty
of,
good one.
the
That
look
was
on
so
Justin's face, it was well worth the secret because he built a deck
Yeah.
for that week, and we just didn't tell him. So he
Not-
spent time to make a deck that he didn't get to play.
Not only did I make a deck, I actually spent like significantly longer on that deck than I did on a normal deck, which is what made it even more frustrating.
It was great.
Made it better for us.
It's like we're roommates, so I had to live like several days with him without telling him about it, which was great. I was like,
Which is difficult for Steven if you've ever watched the show.
Yeah.
Every time we have a random or anything where we're sealing something up, he's always trying to open it up before we even start the episode.
I don't like secrets.
Yeah.
It's true.
John?
I think mine was where I got to kill Wes while playing the Keranos All Lands Glass Cannon deck.
Nice.
And I got there on the very last turn with a treasure
Oh.
hunt and a scroll rack activation to find my one seismic assault to
Yeah.
finally finish him off.
That was
probably,
me.
Oh,
That was me.
yeah, okay,
You killed
well, it was
me.
you. Okay, yeah, even better.
I was playing
Sorry.
Rurik Thar, and you were dead, super dead.
Yeah, you were definitely playing Rorik Thar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And then you
Yeah.
died. That was great.
Yep.
That was a good one. That was
Also,
a lot
I'd like to thank Benny because that was his deck.
It was. We were talking about it earlier. It was great. Fun deck.
I think mine is. I actually have most of my favorite moments are honestly the times where we can have fun outside of games. So receiving the Doge pillow and opening it up from Dan Krause,
That was good.
that was good. I think some of mine are honestly probably the April Fool's episodes and getting to develop those and work with them with you guys. The 90s the sitcom theme intro was like really, really fun to shoot and to come up with and conceptualize. The episode that we recently did was fun in question. The most recent episode, the most recent year's April Fool's episode, we originally, was it John that originally said we should just do this intro thing and then just have 40 minutes
40
of
minutes.
black?
I really wanted
Just
to do that.
Just do the intro and then 40 minutes of nothing, and
Just leave it there.
see how long people would actually keep up with it. But we decided to go through and do the compilation,
the montage.
the montage
I
thing.
think
Of
the
all of our
internet
greatest moments.
would have helped us. They would have been posted in the comments with like timestamps. Oh, like turn to 21:12.
Yeah,
to
that
see
would
this
have been
cool
good.
thing, and it's still black
It's
screen.
still just
Yeah.
black screen. That would have been great. So coming up with those things, I think, is probably some of my favorite times on Commander Versus, just because we get to think a little bit outside of just Magic and coming up with things that we think that we hope you will enjoy and that will be cool for you guys. So, one from Dan Krause to Justin Parnell.
I was gonna say, yeah, Dan's here.
How much do you love that Doge pillow?
I really don't like it.
He does.
I really
love it.
don't like it.
He does. He stares at it all the time.
It's true. It's right in his view.
I really don't. I'm not joking. I really don't like it.
He has to stare at it
I
every
really
day.
hate that meme.
Let's
reinforce it constantly.
Let's go with this one, starting with Steven. Have you ever played a general on the show and decided to play it as a personal commander deck?
Yes, but I haven't built it yet. How
Okay.
about that?
Which one
I
did
want
you-
a Mogus God of Slaughter deck
Oh,
with
yeah.
no creatures in it. I
Steven
really
loves
like that
Mogus.
deck.
Yeah.
I
Steven
like
loves
that
Mogus.
card. And I own the Mimeoplasm, but I had that first. So
Before the show?
before Commander Versus, that was my Commander deck. But Mogus God of Slaughter, that's the one I got my eye on right now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
John?
I built the Volrath the Fallen deck.
Yeah.
Which I've actually been playing in the Command Zone this weekend some. That deck was originally in our odds evens episode, so I only could build the deck with evens.
Yeah.
Yep.
So once I got some odds into the deck, it got a lot better.
I imagine.
So I'm very happy to just fling Dracos at people and make sure they die that way. So
Justin?
I actually have two. For the Battle for Zendikar episode, like the Legends episode, I played a Noyandar like blue-white landfall deck. I ended up making that one afterwards. That has since turned into Dragonlord Ojutai, but most of the themes remain the same. And Ulash the Hate Seed. I pretty much built that deck. After I played it, like immediately, I was like, I love this deck because I love like tokens and sacrificing things are like my two favorite things, and that's like a non-black deck that does both of those things. So it's awesome. So I built those two. Ulash is still in the same form. It's obviously been updated since, but those are two of my favorites.
Yeah. For me, it's probably I built a Lycia deck that after the life gain episode where I gained like 500 and then immediately got killed with commander damage as usual. I just really like that whole effect, the drain and gain, and it's something I've been wanting to make for a while now. And Kambal was like a pretty high up there consideration, but I thought just having the vampire sort of sub-theme would be good. So I built one. It's not super great. I don't actually bring it many places because I'm still like trying to... It's basically a cobbled together mess from a previous like Kalia deck. So there's a lot of just like big dumb life-linking angels and not enough of the actual drain and gain effects. But it's coming together, and that's one that I want to try playing more often because I just had a lot of fun with it, even though I died after gaining 500 life.
Well,
but that's one of those things where you're just like, all right, I'm.
What did you think? What did you think was going to happen? You thought you were just going to go on and win?
No, I was going to die horribly.
That's right.
All right, from Jacob Lewis, what are some cards that you love that everyone else seems to hate?
I'll go first. Winter Orb, Blood Moon, Blood Sun, Smokestacks. What was that?
Keep going.
Volrath.
Yeah, you know.
Draco.
Any of those things that make you not play Magic. Humility.
Oh.
Those are all my favorites.
All the rest I can deal with. Emotionally, was what I mean.
Humility, it's confusing, that's all.
It's not confusing.
It's kind of confusing.
I hate it.
Steven, do you have any?
I mean, we don't play it that much, but cards like Cyclonic Rift, whatever lets me have fun and you not have fun, I'm a fan of that.
Also,
Steven's on board.
Now, Winter Orb is a little, because I also get to not have some amount of fun with that. I want it to be very one-sided. You know, like I Upheaval, which is banned, I put 10 permanents in play, and then you guys discard everything.
We're very clear. We've had an episode where if you use your Winter Orb or your Static Orb correctly, it works in your favor.
Yeah, maybe.
It just didn't work for you.
It didn't.
Yeah.
I tried to vindicate it. You stopped me.
I know. That was your own card.
Justin?
So I guess so this one does it for half of you. You're going to be like nodding your head, and the half of you are going to shake your head. I'll try to give two answers. The obvious answer is Grave Pack, because the people that play it is like, this is the best card ever, and then the people that don't, like if you're not a Grave Pack player, you're like, people like hate playing against that card.
Yeah, he's right. I don't really like
Yeah,
it.
see, yeah, I'm sure Jeremy's the same way. Do you like Grave Pack?
Not really.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
Only
if
when
it's on
in
my
my
side of
deck.
the field, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, that's kind of I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I have a good answer to this question.
Yeah.
I have a lot of cards I hate. I don't have a lot of cards that I think that I like that are overwhelmingly hated.
Sure.
Oh, I
Because
thought you were
most of
gonna-
my cards are like black cards.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like Archive Trap, Millstone.
No,
It's a card that I like.
He likes.
That other people don't like.
Other people don't like.
Yeah. Archive Trap, Millstone.
You shut up.
For me, I think it would probably be Seedborn Muse. I don't think a lot of us like that, but I really
No.
like that effect. It was Prophet of Krufix.
Yeah.
Obviously, that got banned, but that was like my favorite effect. Was just having that, untapping everything. It was just awesome having all your creatures have flash. Outside of that, it probably is just Villainous Wealth, where everybody around you is really giddy when you cast it, except the person you cast it on. They absolutely hate you. So I think it's probably that.
Okay.
So, on the flip side of the coin, Jacob also asks, what about cards you hate that everyone else seems to love?
I hate Cyclonic Rift. I think that is legitimately my least favorite card that is legal in Commander. Even more than Humility. And I hate Humility because it slows the game down to a crawl. And I like playing with creatures. Cyclonic Rift is for sure one that I hate. Seedborn Muse for the same reasons that you said. Vornklex. I hate that card.
Just
That's another
Praetors.
shouldn't
You can
be.
just say Praetors.
I was going to say.
Except
no,
for
no.
Sheldred. I know you
Sheldred
like
is
Sheldred,
great.
Of course. Yeah.
That one is totally fair.
Sheldred has black in its mana cost.
Sheldred is the most perfect one because it's the only one. Now listen. It's the only one that doesn't just completely take over the game like Vornklex or Elishnorn.
There's this one called
It doesn't
Urbrass.
suck like Urbrass.
Oh, okay.
And Jin Kataxis, like, that also can take over the game in certain situations. So it's literally the perfect one for a commander, because it's like no one when someone plays Shieldred goes like, oh, I can't win anymore. They say that with the other
I think
ones.
I've done that before, but
Well, stop playing just one
What if
creature.
they're playing swamps?
it's true.
That's just a 6/6 then.
My least favorite, I think I'll echo Justin's. Cyclonic Rift is really aggravating.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy playing Magic, and despite the fact that I like all the cards that make games miserable, but that's because I can end them quickly when I do that normally. Cyclonic Rift is just that card. It's like, oh, we're playing, and now we're going to play for another hour
Yeah.
because
Everybody has to rebuild.
everybody's reset
Yeah.
to 0. It's not like the prison cards where I can strangle everybody down and then win the game or something. It's everybody gets reset for the most part.
And it still takes time unless you're
Maybe
winning
that's
the
just
game
because of the
after
way I
or
build
something.
my blue decks. There's not a lot of creatures, so maybe that's just a personal thing. But
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Honestly, I really like creatures. All the Wrath effects, all of them. Just
You can't just say Wrath of God.
Yeah.
Wrath of God, Day of Judgment, Supreme Verdict, Austere Command, just all of them.
Yeah.
I just want to have all my permanents in play. I don't want you to mess with them. I don't want you to make me sack anything. I just want to have all the cake just to me.
I'll take back Cyclonic Rift. It's Mystic Confluence. That card's too good.
card's fine.
It's so obnoxious.
It's fine.
It's not. It gets the counter spells. It gets to draw you cards. It gets the bounce. It's just not. There's too many options.
It's
I don't like it.
fine.
I don't like it.
I greatly dislike land destruction. So,
Yeah.
like,
So like Wake of Destruction.
Armageddon,
Oh, I
Wake
love
of
a Wake of
Destruction,
Destruction.
so, like all
You know,
of
I
that
have to
stuff.
agree with Jeremy too. Land destruction
It's
is probably the most unfun thing.
Yeah, it's so Cyclonic Rift does have that problem of you reset the board and everybody has to build back up. Land destruction has the problem of you've just completely wiped out their ability to actually play Magic the Gathering. Like, unless they already have a board presence, and then you're just like, okay, I kill your lands. Well, you still have creatures and whatnot. It's like you Wrath, you Armageddon. Congratulations, we've started at 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And that's just, it's really annoying. So, like, targeted land removal is usually okay. Like, you want, your Ghost Quarter or your Strip Mine or something like that for when somebody gets obnoxious and has, like an Urborg Cabal Coffers combo or something like that.
Yeah.
You just, you need to keep that stuff in check.
Of course.
Or, like, a
I mean, not
Valakut
maybe
that
don't
starts-
kill those specifically, but
Yeah,
I
no,
understand
you
what
want to
you're
kill
saying.
both of those while they're on Justin's side of the table, or else things will just go poorly for you. Or like a Valakut or something like that that's just going to get out of hand quickly. So you want that targeted stuff, but anything where it gets a little more, or like just like being mean and cutting somebody off of a color, which I have no experience with recently. The Channel Fireball episode that you and I know.
I didn't do it,
No, I'm
though.
saying
I was
like,
just there,
you
man. I
remember-
was just-
You remember that
Yeah.
one? That one was awful. So
Yeah.
sometimes that happens. So being like kind of spiteful or like, oh, I'm trying to be funny and cutting up somebody's color from somebody is
Didn't you win?
yes.
So you're the guy
There it
that
is.
complains and then wins.
We call that guy Steven.
Yeah.
yeah, I do not like
No,
being
it
cut off
was
of
Jeremy.
those colors. So
Can I talk
so
more
land
about
destruction.
Cyclonic Rift?
No. Well, actually, hold on. Jacob Lewis and several others ask, are there any cards you would ban if given the choice?
Cyclonic Rift.
There you go.
All right, let me tell you why.
Not that one.
So, I want to compare it to land destruction because, like you
Yeah.
brought up, okay, so who of you that are listening, who has a play group that it's like, yeah, playing cards like Armageddon and Mass Land Destruction is totally fine? So 2? Dude, if you're doing this, that's a no.
4.5.
That means
maybe.
you like it and the other guys don't like it.
Chris McCurry, who does not in fact play
Okay.
Commander.
So, all right. So, mass land destruction generally frowned upon because it's like we all want to play with our cards, right? My biggest issue with Cyclonic Rift, and ultimately, is that it does a lot of the same things that these cards that we've all agreed as a community are like, these are not fun cards. Like, if you go into a fun pod and you, like, ramp up, like, Artifact Mana and then play Armageddon, like, no one's going to want to play with you anymore, and that's fine. That's understandable. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into. But Cyclonic Rift is a card that people are just totally okay with everyone just having in their blue decks.
Yes.
And I think it has it does a lot of the same things. Like, I literally just played a game, guy cast Cyclonic Rift, and the game ended.
Yeah.
And no one else could do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's the fact that Upheaval is banned. Like, I understand it messes with lands too, but the fact that Upheaval is banned and Cyclonic Rift oftentimes is like a one-sided Upheaval, and it's totally fine, and it's an instant, no, that would be the card. That would absolutely 100% be the if I could pick one card, that'd be the one card I would ban.
John?
I'll get controversial. I would ban Sol Ring.
I don't think well, I guess that might be
It's
controversial
pretty
for some
controversial.
people.
So my options are either everyone gets a Sol Ring to start, or no one gets Sol Ring in their deck, period. Because I like the acceleration that it gives you and lets you kind of develop your plan and go, but it's if someone has it and other people don't, then you just fall behind and the game gets out of hand really quickly. So I think it's just best to get rid of it.
One card I could ban. I don't really. I want them to unban cards. I don't really want
That
them
is
to
not
ban
the
anymore.
question. That's not the
I
question,
know.
Steven.
It was actually what cards would you ban / unban if given the
Oh,
choice?
yeah, I would. I mean,
But
honestly,
you snapped off Cyclonic Rift because
I would.
Well, yeah, but you should have just got it in there. You know, I'm just going to talk.
I know.
I would probably unban Prophet of Krufix and Primetime.
No.
Gristlebrand, Emrakul, unban it all.
Just go nuts.
Well, I mean, if a card like Cyclonic Rift is fine,
It's not, though. That's the
It is
point. It's
fine.
not fine.
We're getting
mean-
a little crazy if we're going to compare.
yeah, let's
Emrakul.
get. I'm just saying, get Emrakul in there. He is 15 mana
There's no way you can get him into play for less than 15 mana.
from the command zone.
Anyway, are there any commanders that you really want to try but haven't found a way to make them work?
I've been working on a Scorpion God deck, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he's that good.
Yeah, the -1/-1 counters is really hard to pull off well.
It's
It's
there
either
are some,
super spiky or just kind of
Yeah,
Eh.
it seems like there are some decent cards to use, but we get back to that same conundrum. I want to play like red, black, and green.
yeah.
Yeah. I need another color in there.
John?
So probably Alexa Zephyr Mage.
From
Prophecy.
the worst set in Magic?
It's not the worst
The
set in
blue
Magic.
spell shaper.
No, I said Prophecy.
Yeah, not the worst set.
Yeah, the
in
worst
Magic.
set in Magic. Okay.
Excellent. So I'm trying to build like budget decks with all 5 of the spell shapers from that set, and that one particularly is a little bit harder than the other ones. The other ones are all just incredibly obvious.
Yeah, you want to build a Latula deck?
Yeah, I do want to build a Lithula deck.
I do like me a Grill.
Grill
Mindraker, yeah.
See, you can get on board with it.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I'm having the most trouble with, though.
Justin?
A deck that I've actually just have wanted to play, and I think at this point is by far the most requested deck that I've not played is Kresh the Bloodbraided. It's a Jund deck. It's like all the stuff I like to do, and I've just not had the opportunity to play it for whatever reason. I will eventually because I really like Kresh in general, and it's does all the things I want to do, but I just for some reason have not played it on the show.
Yeah. For me, I don't think that there's any one specifically.
Do you have a list of all the blue-green commanders? You just figure out which one you haven't played yet?
Like, yeah, pretty much.
Is there one he hasn't played?
On our show, probably not. Trying to think. It's a lot more that there are like individual cards I want to try, but haven't found. Like I said before about like Into the Wilds, there's just like certain cards that I always want to make work, but they never do in the decks that I want them to work in. So it's less so the commanders specifically, because I can usually just either use the commanders for what they're obviously intended for, or just build a good stuff deck around the colors or whatever. But there's always just like specific cards where I'm like, man, I'd really like to try this out, but it's just never going to work, you know? Or that seems cute. The Muldrotha deck, I took out like Birthing Pod right at the like one of my last cuts, and I was like, man, that seems really good, but I don't want to sit there doing pod nonsense like for however long it's going to take, because we know that takes on. But that would be a fun one to do. Like, it just seems really natural in that deck. So.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what it is, more so than the actual commanders that I want to make work. Drain and Gain was like one for a long time, because before like Kumbal and Lycia, it was basically like Obsidat or Triad of Fates. I tried to make a Triad of Fates deck work, and it was just kind of I guess that's one.
Yeah, that card sucks.
Yeah, that card's pretty
It
bad.
really sucks.
So, all right. Next is, if you each had to make a deck for Justin to play, what deck would you make? And let's start with Steven Green. Can't even answer the question.
If I had to make one deck for Justin, since we talked about this, it would be a. Now we've got all the information out. It would be a blue-red deck that mills, plays Cyclonic Rift, and has mass land destruction at this point. Because I think he would love that all, and I would figure out some way to put shapeshifters in probably so that I could have doges, just to really get it in there.
What? That doesn't even make sense.
Why doesn't it make sense?
Shapeshifters?
Yeah, they're doges at heart.
They're also doges.
Yeah,
Sure.
What? Okay.
It makes sense in Steven's world.
Justin,
Yeah, Justin.
what would you make yourself?
What would I make myself?
Yeah.
Like the deck that I want to make.
If you had to make a deck for you, what would you want to make?
I want to. Well, I have the answer to this question, but
You don't feel it's in the spirit of the question?
no, I do. But I'm going to be playing it at the end of the season.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll
No, let the
it's a
cat out of the
surprise
bag.
for
Whoa,
everybody.
whoa, whoa. We want to know.
John, what do you think?
I think I would be with Steven. I would want to build a blue-red deck that only had targeted mill and copy effects. So redirects, forks, reverberates, all of those, everything that copies, and then targeted mills, and then I'm going to play
Oh, that's
any,
not the question.
any
That's not the
Mind
question.
Slaver effects that I can to make sure that you do it to yourself.
For me, I think I would build Justin Marin of Clan Neltoth,
Aw.
but
Oh,
with
no.
all really terrible cards. Just
Oh,
like
what though?
Just
10 Seder Wayfinders.
Okay. That's not terrible.
10 Seder Wayfinders immediately get kicked out of the game.
Jeremy,
just
this
like suboptimal cards.
This
And see
plan
if-
would backfire because you still left the best card in the deck.
I know. You would enjoy it, and you'd be like, oh, awesome. But then they would be cards that are not optimized for the deck, and
But if-
see if you can work through the challenge.
I would be able to.
What if
So,
it was
There's
green,
still
black,
black and green
mercenaries?
cards. Huh?
What if it was green,
Mercenaries.
black mercenaries?
Oh, I'd definitely be on board
Black-
for that.
black, green
I also,
mercenaries.
like you, picked the wrong tribe initially.
Yeah.
Little cater and bruiser action.
Cateran Enforcer, that was my guy.
Yeah.
4/3 with fear for 5. Couldn't beat that.
All right, so we're going to go with this as the last question of the day. From Matt Mungio, I want to say is how it's pronounced. Hi, guys. I'm curious to know, if you were restricted to using one commander for the rest of your time playing Magic, what would you choose?
Me, Chromat.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
One commander.
One
not
commander.
One deck.
Yeah, you could change the deck out is what it seems like. It's just you've only got the one commander.
It's kind of new for me, but I'm really liking Grenzo Dungeon Warden.
That one's a good card. I really like that one.
So my answer is going to be interesting because this is not a deck I don't think I will ever make, but just due to the variation that I feel like you can do with this deck, I think it would be Muldrotha. Because you can build that deck like so many different ways. It's got my 3 favorite colors in Magic. Well, it's got my favorite color and then 2 other colors that I don't hate. And you can just build that deck so many different ways that if I had to stick with that, I could just play like almost mono black sometimes and then just like sprinkle in, some green and blue cards occasionally. So I'd go with Muldrotha.
I would. It's difficult. It's a toss-up between the fact that I've had my Maelstrom Wanderer deck for so long and been tuning it, and I've just been playing it for 6 years or whatever it is at this point. And so, like, it's already kind of almost there. To possibly one of the 5-color ones, like Steven said, I think I would have to pick Ramos Dragon Engine. Because it's ramp and lets you do good stuff with it, and you can just play whatever you want in it. So that'd probably be my pick is Ramos.
Okay.
So
Do we have any more? Time for any more?
You sure you don't have that one question you got?
that one question I
you
got,
you don't remember?
the one that came from a Mr. J Suarez.
No, I don't think that's where it came from.
No, it was the email was J Suarez, right?
No,
Jon Suarez, and who is the most handsome and clever and funny member of Commander versus, and why is it Jon Suarez?
Yeah, that was the.
Is that
one.
the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the one?
That was not from me though. I don't.
Not
know.
at all. Oh, not at all.
It wasn't from your different J Suarez.
It wasn't from your work email address.
Well, definitely not.
No, definitely not.
All right, thank you everybody for coming out today. Thank you to all the Commander vs. Caster crew, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your SCGCON.
Thank you.